Hi everyone, my name's Ian Hancock, and today I'm going to be talking about corpus linguistics in language teaching. This screencast is part one of a two-part series. The second part is done by Michael Weaver, and he'll be talking about learner corpus. So, to start with, what is corpus linguistics? And what is a corpus even? Well, corpus linguistics is a computer-assisted analysis of language. Although a computer is used, human interpretations and judgment are still necessary. So this is not a displacement of the teacher or researcher. Corpus linguistics is an analysis of language, and it typically looks at a large body of language. Such analysis will allow the detection of widespread language patterns and also language use as a factor of context. A corpus, from the Latin for body, is a large collection of texts gathered electronically, and it is a principled collection of texts. By principled, I mean that the corpus represents the language. In order to do so, we need to take into consideration the balance and representativeness. So, a corpus consists of texts. They can be either spoken or written. If we are to have a corpus that represents American spoken English, therefore, we need to make sure that we have a balance of registers. We need to have informal, planned, unplanned, and formal, as examples, types of spoken English. We also need to make sure that it has a proper amount of size. We can't have any one speaker or set of speakers dominating the corpus. It should be an equal mix such that the language can be said to represent speakers of English. If the corpus is supposedly of spoken American English, but it consists only of university lectures in the field of physics made by one lecturer, then it's not exactly representative and it's not exactly balanced. Some quick examples of corpora, the plural of corpus, are the British National Corpus, the International Corpus of English, and the Wikipedia corpus. So you know, the International Corpus of English is actually non-native or non-L1 speakers of English. So non-L1, non-proficient speaker corpora do exist as well. One corpus that I'm going to look at and actually demonstrate later on is the Corpus of Contemporary American English, or COCA. It is one of a suite of corpora produced by Brigham Young University, and the researcher associated with that is Mark Davies. COCA has about 520 million words, 100 million words each from academic journals, newspapers, magazines, fiction, and spoken English. The corpora data come from 1990 to 2015, and there's an equal amount per year of about 20 million. Some investigations that have been done with corpus are frequency, lexicogrammar, and register analysis. A frequency investigation would simply be looking at words and seeing how many times they occur, counting them up. From this we get the general service list, which shows the first 1,000 and 2,000 most commonly used words in English, and the academic word list, which consists of words used frequently in the academic register but not in other registers. Something else we can do with frequency analysis is looking at collocates. A collocate is a word or words that co-occur with our target word. So with the example of dog, one collocate is hot dog, as the word hot dog exists. By contrast, hot is not a collocate of cat because hot cat does not exist. Lexicogrammar is the occurrence of a lexical item in terms of grammar. We'll look at that later with infinitives versus gerunds. And a register or genre analysis would be looking at, for example, let's go again with the word dog, the use of the word dog across genres. So we could look at that in magazines, in fiction, in nonfiction books, or in, say, academic spoken English. We could also look at the collocates of the word dog in spoken English versus written English, or in, let's go with animal behavior texts, or biology texts, or physics texts. The point here is that corpus linguistics allows the investigation of certain features, and this can occur across registers or genres. And again, we need well-balanced, well-collected, well-composed corpora in order to allow such analyses. If we are looking at the word dog in the register of physics texts versus biology texts, then we need to make sure that the corpus that composes biology texts is in fact composed of biology texts. That is, it adheres to the principles of balance and representativeness. Okay, lexicogrammar. So, one investigation that's been done into lexicogrammar is verbs that occur with an infinitive, such as like to eat, versus verbs that occur with a gerund, such as like eating. From a corpus analysis, we have determined that verbs that occur with the infinitive are categorized roughly into 4 categories. We have want, need verbs, so hope to eat, like to eat, need to eat. Effort verbs, attempt, fail, manage, try. Begin or continue verbs, so begin, continue, start. And what's called seem verbs, such as appear, seem, tend. So again, based on a corpus analysis, it has been determined that these categories of verbs co-occur more regularly with the infinitive than with the gerund. Something else that's been done is a study of the definite article across registers. So looking at the usage of the definite article in conversation versus in informational writing, we see that there's some differences. In a shared situational context, so this is the reason for definite article use, and about half the time in conversations we use a definite article because the situational context has been shared between sentences. In informational writing, on the other hand, we see that this occurs only about 10% of the time. On the other hand, in informational writing, it's rather common to use a definite article when the noun is being modified, such as in the example, the beautiful houses on the street. In conversations, on the other hand, we very rarely actually use the definite article to, or rather because the noun's modified. So we see that grammatical features vary across registers. This, again, is a finding from Corpus Linguistics. It should be, or I hope that it is obvious how this would apply to the teaching of articles. Okay, an example of collocates. Again, collocates means that things co-occur. And when we're going to look at coca in a bit, we're going to see that you can set the parameters for your collocates. There are left and right parameters. So let's look at the sentence, the hot dog I had for lunch was okay. Our target word here is dog. We're going to look at the collocates of dog. If we set our collocate parameters 1 to the left, it means we're looking 1 to the left. We're investigating what word comes before dog. If we investigate 1 to the right, we will look at what word occurs immediately after our target word, dog. So, left 1 is the word immediately left, hot dog. Left 2 is what happens 2 before, the hot dog. Right 3, 3 of dog, 3 to the right of dog. So in this case, had. These are our parameters. If we search left to the 1, we're only concerned with what immediately occurs. If we search left to the 2, we're looking at what occurs to the first, immediately to the left, and one word more to the left. So it's inclusive, if that makes any sense. An exemplar study that exemplifies the trends of corpus linguistics, especially in language education, is Schmidtke and Cooperman's article from this year. In it, they investigated the use of mass nouns in outer circle countries. So by an outer circle English country, I mean a country where the use of English has been institutionally recognized, but it is not the L1 of the speakers there, such as the case in Hong Kong, Sri Lanka, or Pakistan. In this study, Schmidtke and Cooperman investigated mass nouns that are pluralized. So a mass noun is also known as a non-count noun. It is a noun where the plural and singular forms are the same, such as software or violence. The objective analysis in this study was the pluralization of mass nouns, something that is done in some non-native English-speaking varieties, but not in native English-speaking varieties to rely on that outdated model of native speaker. So I, as an American with an L1 of English, would not say monies, but someone in Pakistan might say monies. This article found that geographical proximity dictates the pluralization of mass nouns. So two countries that are close to one another will likely both pluralize traffics. Two countries very distant from one another would not both pluralize traffics. So there seems to be a sort of regional spread of the pluralization of mass nouns. Okay, here's the reference page, and I'm going to quickly hop onto COCA for the last 3 minutes. So to get to COCA, you can just Google COCA, or you can carefully observe the URL right here. Again, COCA is a Corpus of Contemporary American English. It's brought to us by BYU. I believe I'm currently signed in, but you can do, or I'm not signed in. So we can do free searches even when we're not signed in, which is what I'll show you how to do. I'm going to look at the word fickle, because why not? It's a fun word. So let's actually go back and do that step by step. We're here at search. We want a list, and we'll type in the word fickle. We're going to then find matching strings. What we first get is our word we're searching for here, and frequency. So it occurs 803 times in this corpus. We click on the word, and we're going to get a concordance listing. So this is a concordance listing. It is the word with context. There's our word, there's our word, there's our word. We have context to the left and context to the right. We can see the year that this is from. We can see the category, fiction, or spoken, or magazine, or newspaper. There's also academic or journal. I doubt that they'll show here because fickle is not a very academic register word. And we also see where it's from. So this is from ABC, this is from Texas Rev. I don't know what that means. So we can click on it and find out what that means. It's from the Texas Review. We see the author, more information. The important thing for us here is the expanded context. Here we get about a paragraph level context, so we can get more of an idea of the occurrence of the word, the context in which it occurs, which is important because context dictates language use. Okay, let's go back to our search feature. We're going to, this time, go to collocates. So here we have our parameters. We have 4 to the left and 4 to the right. I only care about the words that are immediately to the right. I want to know what nouns are modified by fickle. I hit find collocates, it searches. Here's our frequency. So fickle occurs X times. Of those occurrences, 17 are nature, 15 are world, 10 are winds. Here we have weather. So looking at this, we can try to, again, use our human judgment and draw some conclusions. We see that when something is fickle, it looks to be something with agency, something that is volatile, kind of obviously. So we have nature, world, winds, weather, public. These all seem to be things beyond the level of the individual. So the most common collocates with fickle are these kind of broad ideas. This gives us a real idea of how the language is used. It's not just our supposition of, it's not just our intuition. It's an evidence-based analysis. Let's check out nature. Again, I'll click to the left of the concordance, and I get the longer context. This is just a brief introduction, but I hope that this has been enough to show you how you can use a corpus, how it could relate to your own language teaching, and how you could go on COCA to check out the collocates and frequency of words. This way, when that learner comes to you with a question, teacher, how do I use pretentious? What are the usages? You can go on here and you can quickly do a search and get some evidence-based results. This doesn't provide the end-all answer. There is no conclusive answer, but it points in the right direction. Again, my name has been Ian Hancock. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you'll enjoy Michael Weaver's section coming up next. Thanks for your attention.